think that it's possible as a therapist or a specialist or a professional in social work that you can help your friends, which is on a professional way, because that's very difficult. It's very difficult. So you can help your friends as a mortar or a car repair or whatever, but when it's from a professional point of view, so in your professional role, mixing up this role with friendship, I think it's a very difficult and maybe even dangerous
Wouldn't be the mistake if I, as a therapist, would help my friend as a therapist. I have to help my friend as a friend. And as a therapist who said that social worker cannot be friends or must not be friends. Friendship and professionalisms are things which shouldn't be mixed.
I actually had a discussion today in the morning with him. We were sitting next to each other, and I was not so happy with the speech today in the morning from the Dutch professor, because in my opinion he mixed up social work and friendship. And that's something that goes together, doesn't go together in my opinion, because I'm a social worker. I don't want to be the friend of my clients. I don't need to be the friend of my clients. I am giving a Dienstleistung. Service, yeah. I am giving a service, and I have my friends, I have my family, he has his friends, he has his family, and we need to cooperate on another level. Yeah.
But struggle with some of the idea about keeping very clear boundaries as a professional social worker and never becoming emotionally involved. I think if you really are that kind of person, you should be. If you never ever have a remote emotional involvement, you're in the wrong job. Because it doesn't feel authentic, it doesn't feel real just as a person to person. You have certain professional skills and knowledge which you've developed over the years, but that should be, from myself, that should be internalised and it's become what I am, rather than what I do when I'm working as a social worker.
I'm a bit reluctant whether the state and the professional sector are the best to do these services. Whether friends, neighbors, relatives and other people cannot do as well as, or even better than the professionals.
The relationship between a professional and his or her client is very important, and he compares this relationship with a kind of professional friendship, not friendship, as you mentioned, your personal friend, but a relationship, a very close relationship between the professional and the client, which still is a professional relationship. But other than
and I would like to challenge that a bit with an example from my own family. I'm raised in a small village with about 3,000 people living there. And my parents were workers. My father was a carpenter, for example, and of course all his friends were craftsmen, carpenters, mortars, or I don't know the English words for all these craftsmanships. And whenever there was something to repair at our house or garden or car or whatever, he called his friends. And there was always a mixture of professionalism and friendship. They were all professionals, but they saw themselves as working for another friend. And the most remarking thing was they were enjoying this work for their friends more than the work at their workplaces, although they had to work harder at their friends' houses, because these were their friends, because they met on an equal level. Yeah, they met on an equal level, whereas at the workplace they had their bosses and so on. So, and I'm asking myself, when this craftsman can mix friendship and professionalism, why shouldn't we as social work professionals be not able to mix?
I'm not boxed into, I'm in a particular role. It's bigger, it's just having values that everyone has a part to play. And often, for young people, it is the dinner lady, the person in the shop, or the next door neighbour who is actually going to be able to give them the support and protect them. And I think we get really mixed up in what we mean by those types of interventions. We can't have it all, and for someone who's trained in a particular way. It's actually about us all taking
How
part.
can I incorporate that in FGC is that I would ask myself, do we really need to professionalize FGCs so much? Yeah? Do we really need to have all sorts of trainings and standards and all sorts of check-ups or whatever? Do we need professional coordinators and big organizations who are doing that? Or should we emphasize more on getting the friends of the people to work as coordinators, getting people from the community to do that, open up our highly professionalized field of social work for all sorts of people from all stratas of society? Yeah.
So the informal way of working.
An informal, yeah. It still can be a professional way of working, but a professional way of working who reduces the thresholds for other people to come into the game. Yeah. Which, of course, I see a danger in that as well. Yeah. It may, in some parts, mean that we need less professional services. But we may need other professional services to open up the professional services for people.
Loosen up. Thank you.